Check. A jizzle juice, baby.
There you go, man.
We live. Yeah.
We're live, bro.
Yeah.
So, man, thanks so much for taking the time to come out here. We're not going to talk about what time you got here, but
hey,
taking time out of your busy schedule. So, man, I just kind of wanted to have you on here to just kind of have a conversation, but mainly just have kind of pick your brain a little bit. You know, I've known you for a long time now. It's going on for about 10 years now.
Dang. Wait, what are we, 2022? 22. You're right. Amber and I had just got married. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you've been through part of my life through some of, tough seasons. I know that before me and my wife got married, we went through a breakup, and you were a big part of that. And before that, even before I even met Destiny, you were a big part of my life, being a mentor and pretty much a big brother slash, father figure in a way, even though you're not much older than me. You're not a lot of years older than me. And then part of the reason too is because I feel that anything that you've done throughout life, you've been successful at it. And then I look at your life, and you didn't have it easy growing up, just like I did. Yeah. So I just kind of wanted to go a little bit deeper on that. So you went from being a successful regional.
Well, first, let me just say, man, it means a lot to even hear you say that. I respect you so much, your work ethic, your drive. We share a lot of those same values, those same principles, working hard. No one will ever outwork us. And I think that appetite, everybody wants to be the king of the jungle until it's time to fight. I tell this to my staff all the time. And what does that mean? Everybody wants to maybe have the lifestyle or get accolades or, oh my goodness, you won that award. But do you want to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning? Do you want to go to sleep at midnight? Do you want to have to deal with the pressures the pressures of disappointments or hurts? But how we navigate those valley seasons, and that's something that I've observed about you, that you navigate those valley seasons so well. Yes, there are tears that I've shared in the valley seasons, tears that you probably have shared, but the development happens in the dark. The development happens, and the growth from that is key. And you have responded so well. Look at your life, even going all the way back to the 2 other businesses or careers that you were in before landing in this one. Man, you've come through so much. And even your own personal life, your childhood and your sweet mom and sister, and you seeing that, Amber and I mean, you remember coming over and we lived in an apartment, 1-bedroom apartment. But really how we handle those dark seasons. Resistance makes us stronger. We go to the gym, the same gym. What happens? We put on more weight. What happens? It gets harder. But then 2 weeks later, we like, oh yeah, we sexy. But that resistance is what develops us.
Man, I was listening to this conversation that Tony Robbins was having, and he says, disappointment will either destroy you or it will drive you.
That's so good.
And you saying that you've seen me bounce back from when I've been in the valley, it's because part of me growing up and not having an easy childhood, it's kind of flight. It's kind of like fight or flight mode all the time, because we always have an option to either keep going or give up. I mean, going back to working out, every single day we always have the option to quit if we want to. Our coach is there, but if we put the weight down, if we just completely stop, he can't make us keep going anymore.
It's a choice.
We always have that choice. And I've chosen to try to make the best out of every situation, because I always like to think, especially coming from growing up in Mexico and seeing when people think of poverty here in the United States, it's nothing comparative there, or even I can't even imagine other countries out, different places. But I always like to think life is happening for me and not to me, right?
And that's so good. And I encourage people all the time. Someone would gladly love to trade the cards of the deck of cards of life that you have, or that people complain about. They would gladly take that, and they would make a better life with what you have than what they have. So there's always someone doing worse, but there is always someone doing better. Don't get caught in that comparison trap. What we can do every day is, how can I be the best version of me? How can I add value to others' lives? And how can I serve? Because the most important thing we can hear at the end of our lives is not well done, not good and faithful boss, leader, millionaire, billionaire. The most important thing is, well done, not good and faithful servant. So how are we serving people that maybe don't have a title? How are we serving people that may be an underserved or low income or internationals? How are we serving them? That matters.
Yeah.
And how you treat people now will dictate how far we go in life. That I firmly believe how we treat people matters.
That's
Oasis on
so,
there, baby.
So good. And you hit on something there really good that I'm curious to know on your end, because, you know, we grew up hearing comparison is the thief of joy. You shouldn't be comparing yourself and everything. That's one of my biggest struggles that I've always grown up with. But I always tell people that, to me, that's like a double-edged sword, because yes, it takes joy away from me, but that's what drives me.
That drive, that hunger. You gotta be hungry on a day-to-day basis. If you are not hungry, you become complacent. And if you become complacent, you become stale. And if you're stale, you're essentially almost invaluable. You know, and we take advantage of the life and the breath that God has given us because, man, I don't feel like it, or man, I'm tired, or somebody else will do it, or there's always tomorrow. Nothing is guaranteed. And so leaving an impression, the Bible tells us he's given us this day our daily bread. It doesn't say he gave us yesterday. It doesn't say he'll give us tomorrow, but it says he's given us this day. So whether it's Oprah or Jeff Bezos, or when Steve Jobs was alive, or Tyler Perry, each and every one of them have been given 24. Mm-hmm. What are we doing with our 24?
Exactly.
That's the difference that matters. And the thing, like you said, you didn't say this, but what I heard was consistency matters.
It does, man.
You know, somebody working out 30 days and then taking 11 months off is not going to be as effective as somebody going 5 days a week, 6 days a week, even if they're only giving 50% in the gym. Going 5 a.m. in the morning, we don't always feel like giving 120%, but that consistency every single day. So then our health, what does Brett say? Healthy people are strong to kill. Why? Because it's about mindset as well. I tell my 4-year-old daughter, strong mind, strong body. And so that consistency of going, even when I don't feel like going, it matters.
Yeah, and a huge thing in that, and consistency to me, is anytime that I start to do something, is what is the fastest way that I can gain momentum? Because catching momentum is what's going to make the consistency easier.
And people miss it because momentum has to be now. Part of the momentum, don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait 2 weeks. No, I got to do it now. Yeah. You know what? And some people say, well, Will and AJ, how did you do that? No, the moment of now.
Yeah.
I'll call you later. No, I'm going to call you right now. I'll be in meetings and I'll interrupt a meeting. Somebody will say, hey, we haven't been able to get a hold of so-and-so. Wait, you're calling him? Yeah, right now. We're going to be now type of people. But that's also the danger, that double-edged sword that you talked about. It's hard to turn it off.
It is, man. And going back to before this, we had some technical difficulties. You were talking about time and how we all have the same 24 hours in the day. And man, that's one thing that so many people don't realize. They're so focused on different goals, whether it's family goals, whether it's money, financial goals, whether it's fitness goals, whatever it is, you're so focused on that, but you don't realize that you can't have a goal that you want to have 26 hours in the day next year, or or more days in the year. We all have the same 24 hours. And what drives me as well is how can I do what I'm doing, do it better? One of my favorite quotes that I've heard is, money can't buy happiness, but it can buy really nice things. And the nicest of them all is time.
And options. That's the thing too. Money gives people options. An option. You have an option to buy, to fly first class, or to fly coach, or to buy an airplane. Money gives you options.
Yeah.
And I think you and I would prefer options, and we like nice options versus not having them, because that's also the double-edged sword of how we grew up. We grew up not having, or, growing up in single parent homes, and the struggle of that is hard.
Yeah.
And so I think as minorities, you being Hispanic, me being Black, it's key for us, because we can be the example for other young Williams, other young AJs, to say, hey, if we can make it, moments looking up in the field and not having a father, or wishing my father was there, or you being wrestling in football, I'm sure you had those moments too. Now we can say, hey, young Will, you can do it too.
Yeah, man, that's been so good in anything that I've done in life, because to me, I talked about this in a different conversation, that sometimes people think of giving back, of volunteering, giving back, tithing or charity, or that type of giving back. But sometimes so many people that are like me, for example, and seeking out mentorship and seeking out advice are so, quick to hold their cards close to their chest, and they don't want to help anybody else. But that's one of the things that I find joy in. It's like, who else can I help to try to bring up to the next level? Because I want to be a part of that person's success. Yeah.
There's a motto in college we used to say, lift as you climb. As I'm going up, AJ versus AJ, I'm not competing against anybody else. I'm competing to be the best version of me 7 days a week, 365, 24 hours a day, because the yesterday's me won't get me to tomorrow's me, and today's me won't get me to next year's me. So every day it's about self-evolving and pushing, but also, man, who else am I bringing up with me? Hey, that's why we check on each other. Will, how you doing? What are your goals? Hey, in the weight room, come on, bro. You can do a little bit more, and that pushing as we go up, man, that it's a game changer. My man is a little raggedy.
I know.
Yeah, zoom in on that. Yeah, psh, AJ. Yeah, psh, Oasis, call me. Yeah. Proud of you, William. What's your middle name?
Ivan.
William Ivan.
Julio Gomez. I have like 4 names, man.
That's William Ivan Julio.
Privilege of growing up or being born in Mexico there.
Hey, my friend is fuerte. Yeah, strong.
So something that I wanted to ask you was, one thing that I've learned in life is that through life you have different seasons, and there's different people in those seasons. One of the reasons why I wanted to have you on is because a thing that stood out to me is that you go back to consistency. And that's one thing that you and I have had we've had a consistent friendship throughout the past 10 years. And that's pretty rare, because I can think of over the last 10 years of my life, and I can think of people that I've had in my life that are not in my life anymore.
Yeah.
And I know that you have some people like that are still, John, Gordy, you've known him since you guys were little, and
we've been working out over 20 years together now.
Yeah, and then think about you and John when you guys were freshmen in high school, and the group of people that you guys were hanging around with, and then fast forward 5 years, they weren't at college, and think about those people that you guys were hanging around with in college, most likely weren't there the next 5 years.
Yeah.
So where you're at in life, or in the last few years, what is it that you look for in a friend whenever you meet someone new?
Man, that's a good question. I heard a mentor of mine say, some people are with you for a season and some people are with you for a reason. And we don't always understand what that reason is. We'll use John for an example. John and I, we are in covenant, We've been together for so long, even you. We don't have all the answers, but there's some reason we feel connected, and why we keep checking on each other. Or, hey, I haven't seen you at the gym. You okay? Hey, how's Destiny? Or hey, how are Amber and the girls? How's the business? I don't necessarily have the answer to, what was your question? Something about friends.
What is it that you look for in a friend? Whenever you meet somebody and you meet somebody new today and you think of, man, is this person going to be in my life for a season, or are they in here for a reason? Like, what do you look for?
Man, that's a good question that I probably in this season of my life need to ask myself with a little bit more intentionality. What do I look for in a friend? Is one, are we connected? That connection, as in any relationship, whether it's male, female, business partners, there has to be a level of connectedness. Are you headed in the same place that I am? And if we are, how can I serve you and add value to you? And how are you going to bring value to the relationship as well? So then that way it's not, I can't give someone everything and them not really deposit back into me. That there are seasons where I do that. In the morning in my staff meeting, 9:15, we have a rally every single morning. I prepare for that as if it was a hour-long speech. It's really only 15 minutes. But why do I prepare for that so long? Why? Because I'm trying to make a deposit into them. And so I think in friendships, how are you adding value to it? And really asking each other that, like, bro, what do you want out of this? What does a girlfriend or boyfriend want out of it? What is a spouse? That is a question that I think as we get older, that circle becomes smaller because you've been through some hurts. Yeah. You've been through some pains. You get guarded. And then just like, ooh, as a new person comes in, it's like, are you really here to just get the juice? Are you really here as a confidant? And that's something that sometimes we've heard people say it's lonely at the top. We don't want to be at those places. And that's why making time for intentional relationships matter.
Man, that's so good. And going back to Oasis, man, you've been killing it there. How long has it been now? A little bit over
Oasis, a year? Today is the 1st of June. It's the first of the month. So get up. We have officially been open the day after the race massacre. So today marks 101 years since the Tulsa race massacre. And people ask, what's changed in America for blacks? I would say, man, for me to be a first generation business owner, it makes me emotional because my parents were employees, their parents were employees, to now be an employer where I have a staff of almost 40. First grocery store in North Tulsa in over 14 years. It was once called the food desert, but now there is an oasis, baby. What's the definition of oasis? Refuge, safe place, shelter. And so it means a lot to really, in a predominantly black community of North Tulsa, to have a grocery store that's giving people access to fresh and healthy groceries. That matters to us for sure.
Man, hearing you talk about two things. One, seeing the generation of my family always being the employee, mm-hmm. and maybe not being able to take off if they wanted to or whatever those reasons are. And then the other thing there's a further purpose and reason of why you stepped out into that new challenge. But the biggest thing of why I truly believe, and I would like to hear what you have to say on it, of why I think you've had so much success on that, is because I heard once, you're not the only business owner in Tulsa, in Oklahoma, in the nation. I'm not the only loan officer. Whatever your profession is, whatever it is that you do, most people know what they do. Mm-hmm. Hey, this is what I do. And then a fewer portion of those people know how to do it. Yeah. Hey, I run a grocery store, and this is how I do it. This is how I'm reaching people. But very, very few people know why they do it. And you talking to me, just telling me those two couple of sentences there, tells me your why. And I think that's what makes you successful. And I think that's when I've looked at myself in the mirror, and when people have asked me, like, what drives you? And I'm just like, I'm competitive. Yeah. I don't like to lose. But there's a bigger why behind me, because I don't ever want to go through what my mom went through with 3 kids, seeing her work 3 jobs, and man, your why is so powerful. It really is.
Man, and it makes me emotional because I see the faces of people that come into our store every day. The little boys and girls, the single parent moms, the grandmas, those that are in wheelchairs, even the homeless that come in. Why the sacrifice? Because it's about serving people. And that's a hard sacrifice. I actually encourage people now, being an entrepreneur, I encourage people, you don't want this life.
Yeah.
Because it calls for tremendous sacrifice. You're an adult babysitter. As an entrepreneur, you're an adult babysitter, you're a counselor, you're an architect, you're a janitor. Shoot, I had to make a decision, but I was going to figure out how to fix a poopy toilet so I could save money on the budget and not call a plumber. I mean, I don't know nothing about toilets.
Yeah.
But I do now.
Man.
And so the sacrifice in being an entrepreneur, but it's worth it. Sacrifice in missing some of my kids' events, that's painful. I missed 2 of my daughter's games this year, and I cried. Why I missed them were for some, it's a double-edged sword, because the outcome of that was I took meetings that really thrusted the business forward.
Yeah.
Therefore giving us the ability to reach more people. But it was painful to miss my 6-year-old and 4-year-old soccer game. People say, they got more games, but I want to be a present father.
Yeah.
So,
especially growing up without a father.
Without a father, yeah. And so finding the why, we heard Craig Rochelle say it all, the why before the what matters. Will, using you and asking yourself, I'm so competitive, but how am I using that competitive edge to develop other people? Where are my other young Williams? Where are my other young Destinies? And it just starts with one.
Yeah.
Just that one. And it may not be every day, but man, once a week, once a month, I'm going to be intentional about finding little William, especially over the summer. The kids are out of school for 8 weeks. Can you find one person and have 4 meetings with them?
Yeah.
And pour into them and let them listen in and find a little William that says, hey, when I'm doing these, you're going to sit there and learn. That's it. I'm going to buy you a burger. You're going to sit there and you're going to learn. That's
so good, man. And you telling me what you had to do to be able to make things work. I heard one time, great leaders are the people that find the best solutions. And at that point, you as a leader, as an employer, you have to find the solutions to be able to make sure that everyone is doing okay. But then within that same realm, so many people think of a leader. I mean, I think that people just think that leaders are just kind of happen overnight. Like they don't see where everything started to where I think of a guy that works here who's our branch manager's right-hand guy. And man, this guy, when it rains, he's out there and water gets in, he's out there mopping that up. If there's problems in the bathroom, he's everyone looks up to him because he knows he's good at his job, and he's
nothing's beneath him.
Exactly, man.
The higher up you go, the lower you must come down in order to serve. Bending down takes effort. Tying our shoes take effort. Tying someone else's shoes takes effort. But that's the greatest leader of all, is how well do you serve? Can you get off of the mountaintop, the title, the money, and can you mop up water? Can you pick up trash in the parking lot? And how you treat other people's business will determine how someone treats yours. So that's why when I'm out and about, and if I'm walking into somebody's business and I see a piece of trash, I pick it up. They don't pay me to pick up their trash, but serving is not beneath me.
Yeah.
And even serving someone else's. Right now, you're in a season where you're a part of helping someone else build their dream. Well, someday others will be a part of building your dreams. And so how you respect and honor and serve in this season will determine how successful you are when it's William Gomez on the door, or when it's William Gomez on the check and you've got 100 employees, 1,000 employees, 50 million people watching you online. Yeah. So don't discount this season. Outserve everyone here.
Man, and the way that I think of it as well is I always want to try to pay people back. I never want to feel like I'm in debt to anybody.
Yeah.
So like just thinking about, my branch manager here, and sometimes people ask me like, why are you doing these things whenever, they're not really benefiting you directly? And then my response is, I've learned so much from Alfredo that I want to be able to give back to him and help him with his vision, because no matter what level you're in, you have a vision, right?
Yeah.
Whether, it is to a smaller vision that most people have already accomplished, or a bigger vision, or a really, really big vision, people need help for that stuff. And so many people just check out and are very okay with not
average,
not giving back and being average. Yeah.
And your dream, I heard this and I love it. Your dream will only go as far as your team.
That's so good.
So who you